Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of the making of a franco-belgian album as a direct follow-up to the making of Alcatraz series. This is alrav from Quebec, Canada, the author and creator of Alcatraz the Protector / Alcatraz le Protecteur. And for today's video I'll be talking specifically about synopsis, which is the basic foundation for all comic book, especially franco-belgian albums, as well as most, if not all, other form of entertainment. So I'm going to be showing you a peek at what one of my typical notebooks would look like. So a synopsis, as I said before in the subject, it is about an overview or a summary of the story that you are about to do before you actually do the story itself in the written and visual form. So a typical franco-belgian album is around 48 to 64 pages in length. So to give you an idea, a synopsis like this will be around 2 to 3 pages, no more than that. The key point is that you'll be using the synopsis to then flesh out the story from that basic idea and draft that you have, and then gradually flesh out the settings, the characters and so on by breaking it down into smaller and more precise pieces over time. So this is what a typical synopsis. For instance, in my case, a typical one page of a synopsis to me is around 24 pages of a comic book story, around 16-24 pages depending on what kind of story that I tell. And from that point onward, you can then start breaking it down into an actual script. So once you break down a synopsis into a script, the more precise the breakdown process is, the better it will be after. So to give you an idea, if you do the whole story within the span of one page, so that's not precise enough. If you do the breakdown of a synopsis into, let's say, 2 pages or so, that's still not enough. You could then do a 3-act structure just like a movie, and it still won't be good enough. But once you start breaking down the story into small, manageable short of a story itself, then you can work around it, which is the basic breakdown that I would recommend when breaking down a synopsis, simply because there are some franco-belgian album series that are self-contained within the album format itself, but there are some series that do consist of these compilation of short stories that are released in magazines and such, that are then compiled into the franco-belgian album, much like the equivalent of a trade paperback for American comics and such, which is exactly why I personally, if I were to break down a synopsis, I believe that the more precise the breakdown process is, the better after you created said synopsis. And that's it for the first episode, folks. So in the next one, I'm going to be going more in depth into what a visual breakdown of a story itself would look like, so stay tuned for that. With that being said, thanks for watching, and as always, look forward to all the Alcatraz the Protector / Alcatraz le Protecteur stuff on my Substack. The links are available in the description below or on my channel's page, and as always, the first issue is available for free there alongside the blog comic companion that is now well over 100 chapters and so on, and is all available for free until the release of the second issue, which is coming out soon in the months to come. So another thing to look forward into. With that being said, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see one another very soon. Enjoy the reading.